Right. Well, clearly this one's going to look like a bobber. Ben phoned me last night and said he wants to put a bobber seat on it, which, so instead of having your seat T and your seat post, you take those off and you have to make some sort of a pivot point somewhere, be it off of there, and then you have two coil springs here with a little pan seat, yeah? Yeah. So you'll have two coil springs there mounted somehow or the other, we don't know yet. We'll need to get a seat first, but there's two sort of different types of springs. You can get what you call a normal coil spring or a horseshoe spring, which is like that. Two types. So we'll take the seat post out and take this off, put the other tank on, and then you can sort of get a feel for what sort of height you want if you sit on it roughly, because you don't want to be right down here. Some of them are really, really low like that, but if you're not a midget like me, then your knees are going to be up here somewhere. Yeah. So first thing to do is take all this out. So we'll remove that. Okay, now you can't, because at some point Ben might want to turn the bike back to original, you know, put the front fender back on it, put the full rear fender on it. You can't get rid of this pivot point because that holds your normal standard seat T. Yeah. Okay, so you can't get rid of that. So I have seen people make a bar that comes down and then goes under the seat like that. So but you won't get a lot of pivot because it's going to hit that. Yeah. So it takes a little bit of working out. Let's get rid of the seat post. Can't remember what size they are. So to get one of these out, all it is, right at the bottom of the frame there's a big nut. It should actually have the stud, I think, going all the way through and a lock nut on it, if it's original, I think. This is like a special shouldered nut, see it? So that inner piece fits up in a recess in the frame. Okay. And then that literally, you should be able to just pull the seat tube out. There's springs up inside here as well, yeah, as a rebound mechanism, I think. So you've got a spring there, look. And a little spring there. And a big spring there. And that's in that book. Do you remember us showing all the different spring rates and the different springs you can get? That's what you change. You take all of that apart. Okay, so that's that out of the way. Now what I normally do, I've only done not many of these, but a couple. Just machine up a bung to go in there. Just stops it won't do any harm, all the rain and crap going down there if you're riding, but just makes it look a little bit better with a cover on it, you know? Yeah. Let's pop the other tank on and we can have a look and see what it looks like. Because you want to get a general look of how sort of wide you want the seat, because they're quite slim, the normal bobber seats you get. We'll have a look online in a minute. Bobber seat kit. Okay, so you've got a pan that'll go on the bottom like that on some of them. Let's get all the images. So you've got one there with a pivot and a pan on it, yeah? Mm-hmm. You've got one there that kind of looks Harley-ish, doesn't it? Well, it says CB750, but... So that kind of thing. You've got your springs, that's your pivot point they supply. You've got springs like that, or you can get horseshoe springs, like I was saying, like that, yeah? So that's the kind of thing you're looking at, but there's loads of them out there. They're the ones, if you look at that picture there, look, they're the ones with the horseshoe springs. Depends what Ben wants. Obviously I'll take a few pictures, and I don't particularly like the ones with the trays, but it's down to him, isn't it? So that's basically the style we're looking at, yeah? Yeah, that's quite a nice setup. But you don't want it too raked back, you know, you want it to hold your bum as opposed to sliding off the back, you know. See, I mean, if you really want to strip one of these down, you can get a daytime MOT on it, yeah? And then the only thing, you can take the headlamp off, you can take the rear lamp off. The only thing you need is a horn. Yeah. A horn and one little reflector. And then you can ride it, if you're not going to ride it at night, that's your total stripped down, complete bobber look, you know. Now, obviously, I'm quite short. So instead of having your seat up here, it will literally be down here. So you'll be down there. So even for me, you see, I'd have to be a bit higher up because I don't even bend that far to get on the brake pedal. So you want to be definitely higher up than that, and you'd have trouble with your clutch as well, probably. But that's your basic thing. So now it'll be probably coming about there, something like that. Yeah. But it changes the whole outlook of the bike. So basically that would be about there, normally, yeah? So you're taking all of that out. So if you had a solo saddle, it would be right down there. But obviously they're a lot smaller than this. So now it's just a matter of working out where we're going to pivot it from. But until I actually get a seat, which I'll order today, but you can see standing back and looking at that, how much different they look, whether you deem it better or not. I prefer them when the seat's just down here. Yeah, definitely. It makes the bike flow more, you know. So that's basically the idea of a bobber seat. If you're going true bobber, you can take the headlamp off, just run a daytime MOT. You can't put any, it's a funny thing, it's all or nothing. You can't put a brake light on it. If you put one light on it, you have to put the rest of the lights on it. Really? Yeah. So you couldn't take the headlamp off and just run a brake lamp, it won't let you. You couldn't take the brake lamp off and run a headlamp, it won't let you. But the only thing you can put on it is a horn and a 1/2 inch or bigger reflector on the back. That's it. But if you want that minimalistic look, it takes out a crap load of wiring and everything, you know. But if you put your dog bones on, it'll be up to about there probably, and that's your real 50s thingy, what's his name, Marlon Brando Wild One kind of look, you know. But if you get a side view of that, Stu, you can really see the difference on the way the bars look. It's a massive difference. Yeah, so if you had that, no headlamp, that's your true, everybody's idea of a bobber is different, but that's about as true to your 50s sort of look as you'd get, I suppose, yeah. This company, Faber Cycles, these are a true copy of the Flanders bars, however you pronounce it. But there's all different ones they do. I think there's 6 different styles of these. And these are the ones that Simon chose. But it just shows you what a difference a set of bars can make, you know? Yeah. And that's all your grip is, that long. So that's the look of them. I can't really think of anything else to say on that really at the moment.
We're in the process of just waiting, aren't we?
Just waiting for parts now. It's an absolute pain in the bum. Bits coming from Holland, and they've left Holland, but they're in the ether somewhere, man.
And they have been for weeks now.
Yeah, oh yeah, a long time, which is quite worrying, but because it wasn't a small order. So I think this, with its transfers on, is going to look the bollocks, mate.
It's going to look lovely, isn't
it? Yeah. Yeah, so then, like I say, it's just a matter of working out where to pivot from. I mean, I could drill and tap into here, and you could just put grommets in there when you put the bike back to original, nobody would notice them. And then you can pivot from there, because that goes on there. So that'll be black. He's on there, and that'll be black, yeah? But you can't get rid of that. I could probably make something, machine something up to fit in there just to take that gap up, you know what I mean? Because, like I say, whichever way you do it, to hold that bobber seat, see if you come down to there, you can kink these, play around with them, but you've got no travel on that.
No.
It's going to bash into the tank. So if you do it, it's got to come up, then down. So whatever we get, I think it'll probably be better just to drill and tap 2 holes in here, make a mounting bracket for it, fill that in, and then what I'd like to try and do is make the springs so that they'll come into these 2, because that utilises a part of the frame instead of putting another clamp or something on it.
Yeah.
So perhaps machine something up in there with an angle on it to hold them so the springs sit level. Not quite sure yet, but until we actually get a spring, sorry, get a seat. So we'll get on a case and order one today. And then we can start playing around with that and getting it looking how he wants it. But it just shows you how, from a standard Harley, just making that little mudguard, changing the bars around a bit, making it swoop like that, they just look so different, you know.
Oh, so different.
Ben is doing it a sensible way. Everything, I mean, you could chop everything off of one of these frames, make it all super smooth and take all the lumps out of it and everything, but the inherent value in is probably the fact that it is a WLA WLC. So if you start chopping them around too much, you probably lose your value on that, you know. So you could just take anything that I've put on there that doesn't look original, he will have all the parts just to unbolt what's there and bolt back on as original. And he's doing it all the other mudguards in the same blue, so it's a nice colour.
It's a beautiful colour.
Yeah, get the transfers on there, it'll look very nice.